Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is the Faceless Artist and welcome back to Project Zomboid. In this video we'll be taking a look at all of the rifles that can be found in the vanilla base game. In the first two we'll actually be taking a look at is the MSR 700 and the MSR 788. Now the first one is the MSR 700. Now it has an internal magazine and it uses the .223 rounds. It has an incredibly high range and the best attachments that you can put on it is the X8 scope, the fiberglass stock and the recoil pad. Now it has an incredibly high range and it is recommended that you use it only with level 4 plus aiming. It's not a very practical weapon, but it can pierce zombies, which is incredibly cool. So if you were to set up on a platform or something, it's basically a sniper, right? It's not that rare to actually find the gun. It isn't really practical. For example, if I was to engage zombies like this, I would need a firearm. An additional firearm, that is. But as you can see, it is incredibly powerful. It'll one-shot most zombies, and if there's a lot of them, it can actually pierce zombies as well. And the range is freaking incredible. With enough accuracy, yeah, you can do wonders with the gun. It is incredibly powerful, but it definitely has its situational uses. And now we're actually gonna take a look at the other one, the MSR 788. Now you can apply the same upgrades as for the MSR 700, but this one actually uses 308 rounds and has magazines. And this one is a bit more rarer, but it has the highest range out of all of the weapons and the highest damage. And the highest damage per second, even with the magazines. It does hold 3 rounds per magazine, but it's incredibly accurate and incredibly fun. You can basically snipe units from all around. There we go. Oh my, I appear to have run out of zombies here. Okay, I'll need to find more zombies for the next two rifles. But essentially, it is incredibly useful. It's not that rare to find. You can find them in wardrobes mostly. And as you can see, I am right here. I can pick off zombies that are all the way over there. But if you use it below free aiming, you will essentially become a stormtrooper from Star Wars. It is incredibly inaccurate. There we go. Yeah, I won't be able to hit them over there. But I do believe that in the future this one will be pretty good. Or if you could like go into first person or something just to snipe. But for example, if you came up to the prison and you boarded this off and created a platform, yeah, you could have sniped a fair bit of zombies. But the ammo for both of these are, well, it's not incredibly rare, but it is definitely on the rarer side. Okay, the next two would be the M14 and the M16. Now, the M14 holds 20 rounds and uses the 308 ammo, and it also requires the M14 magazines. And basically, if you put a laser, recoil pad and red dot on this puppy, you're good to go. This is by far the best weapon to handle small hordes, but it requires at least level 5 of aiming skill to use effectively, so this is a relatively late game weapon. Now the M16 can fire from full auto or semi-automatic. Now full auto is really good, but it uses the 5.56mm. And it can only be found around military bases. or you know, just gun shops in the most influential display, like the main display. The M16 is incredibly rare, but you can mow down zombies with it no problems. The M14 can be found in houses, and it can also be more commonly found within gun stores, so that's also something that you should keep in mind. Now, I've used the M14 to clear out most of the zombies down here, and that has cost me a lot of money, just overall. The range is pretty decent, the firing rate is also pretty good. If you combine it with the upgrades, you're basically good. Now I just need to find some zombies so I can show you. There we go. Of course you wait until it's green. It can also jam, but it has a lower chance of jamming. Although I have found that it does sometimes jam quite often if you're really, you know, in a bad mood. But it is fairly good of dealing with small hordes and even medium hordes. For larger hordes, I would recommend it, but it is a bit more tricky. It's not registering. There we go. And now let's actually quickly look at the M16 assault rifle. Now this one is recommended for larger hordes. Alright, you gotta put the mag in. This one is definitely recommended for larger hordes because it has high damage and a high fire rate. So, but basically what you want to do... there we go, perfect. Let me show you. Now this is a small horde. Basically you're gonna want to get up and close. There we go. You want to actually burst fire it. You don't want to hold on the left trigger because you will miss a lot of shots. And the ammo for it isn't really that common. Okay, but this is a nice weapon to blow off steam. Of course you can always change the firing thing. See, for example, if you were to like this, you will hit some of them, but you will run out of ammo before you actually accomplish your goal. That's why I actually prefer the M14, because it has a slower rate of fire, but man, you can hit pretty much everything. I'm surprised my gun hasn't jammed it once at all. Usually when I'm clearing out zombies like this, my gun will jam quite a lot. So both of these weapons are pretty good. They're more late game, because even with aiming 10 you will not always hit your mark. But they are quite decent. Definitely good if you have surplus of ammo, but generally stick to melee overall, unless you have a bunch of ammo, because as you can see, the actual gunfire is drawing the zombies in, which isn't really that surprising, because that's sort of the point, so you can actually start killing off more of them. There we go, it's jammed, so you can just hold R or press X to unjam it. And yeah, overall they're loud and they're proud and they're pretty goddamn good. You?